Brand new Bette Midler next. Dexter's Hollywood.
They are sleeping in the computers and then they can use it from distance.
Computer chaos was just a mouse click away.
Amazing, probably the best game I've seen in 20 years.
And the comeback Canadians have fans reeling.
CTV News with Mitsumi Takahashi and Brian Britt.
Good evening. Police say 17 young Quebecers found a way to take control of almost 1 million computers around the world.
They apparently used them to hack into databases, steal identities, and caused an estimated $45 million in damages. Anne Lewis reports.
This home in Rosemont was one of 17 locations where police say the cyber criminals operated. Over 1 million computers worldwide were hijacked by planting a botnet, which turned them into zombies.
They are sleeping in the computers and then they can use it from distance.
They were controlled remotely and used to send out worms, spam, and identity theft. They attacked websites, substituting fake pages to collect passwords and PIN codes.
When a website is controlled by someone else, sometimes you couldn't notice it because the website is so look-alike the real website.
Poland, Brazil, and Mexico were the most popular targets because of vulnerable computers with no firewall and no antivirus protection.
The computer infrastructure in that specific country was not safe, so that's why they were targeting those servers.
Even governmental agencies were preyed upon. Police won't say in which country. The 17 young hackers are aged 17 to 26. One is female. 16 of them have been charged with illegal use of computers. One is at large. They face a maximum 10-year sentence. Police won't say if and by how much the thieves could have profited. They estimate at $45 million the cost to fix damage to IT infrastructures.
And how would someone know if their computer's been taken over by the hackers?
Good question. This 2-year investigation was sparked by people noticing that their computers were running slowly. Of course, a sluggish computer can be caused by many things, but this, in this case, was a red flag.
And Anne, what should someone do if they suspect their computer has been hijacked?
First thing to do is to get a well-qualified company to come in and check the computer or take it to their offices. And if you're still suspicious, then call the SQ at 1-800-659-4264 and ask them to investigate. Sumi?
Okay, thank you very much, Anne.
2 Quebec City men have been arrested and charged with sex crimes police say were committed in Haiti in 2006 and 2007. Armand Huot and Denis Rochefort did humanitarian work for an organization that runs an orphanage in Haiti. Additional detail from John Grant.
Denis Rochefort is facing 10 charges. Armand Huot is facing 13 charges involving sexual touching of boys between 13 and 16 years old.
Those 2 persons were accused and appeared concerning touching young persons and engaged them to touch the accused.
The charges were laid under a rarely used section of the criminal code that says Canadians can be tried here for crimes committed outside the country.
Having sexual relationship with youngsters is not permitted. And as we are able to have evidence that they did that in another country, we're able to sue them here in Canada.
Neither man entered a plea at a short appearance today. The Crown insisted that they remain in custody.
Because it's an important case concerning youngsters in another country, and there are 10 victims. It's a lot. The evidence is strong, so we'll see if they offer guarantees. We don't want those people to do again what they did.
The case involved the Haitian National Police, the RCMP, and the Sûreté du Québec, who say they want to send a message about breaking the law in other countries.
Those persons or people are going outside the country to do so, or people that are doing so outside and think that by coming back here in Canada or in Quebec, that won't face justice. That is false.
The accused return to court tomorrow for a bail hearing. John Grant, CTV News, Quebec City.
One day after its release, the Castonguay report on healthcare financing in Quebec is already causing controversy. Several hundred people took to the streets today protesting against the recommendations. They say the report caters to the rich. Tara Schwartz has more.
Inside the Delta Hotel, former Health Minister Claude Castonguay is speaking at a business luncheon. Outside the hotel, protesters are speaking to Claude Castonguay.
It's frustration because Mr. Castonguay, we know where he's coming from. He's coming from the insurance company.
Demonstrators from 3 provincial unions are loudly criticizing Castonguay's just-released health report. They say its message is clear.
He was telling officially, if you're rich, you're going to get the service. But if you're poor, you'll have to wait.
Above all, they're against any type of 2-tiered system.
I'm dead set against the privatization of our healthcare system, and I think it's very important that we stand up together in solidarity against these proposed changes.
I think this report really calls into question the whole public healthcare system we have in Quebec. I mean, this is a fundamentally important social program that's based on the principles of accessibility and universality, and I think the recommendations of this report totally undermine that.
Several groups joined in the fight, including Physicians for Social Justice. Their message again, no private health care.
We believe that the best way to ensure health care for all is through a publicly funded health care system.
I'm really concerned that if these are implemented, people will not have access to the health care they need.
At this point, the government has no plans to implement Castonguay's recommendations, but protesters say they will be watching.
We will be vigilant. We will follow up every step of what will be done by the government.
To protect a system, they say, protects us all. Tara Schwartz, CTV News.
The threat of a transit strike might soon be over. Bus and metro drivers will meet next Tuesday to ratify a new contract. An arbitrator rendered his decision yesterday. The two sides have already reached an agreement on non-monetary clauses. Details of the arbitrator's report won't be released until after the vote. A building on St. Catherine Street East was demolished today. The city expropriated the land to make way for a last-minute ticket office. It's supposed to be the cornerstone of the city's proposed quartier des spectacles. And the Quebec Transport Department demolished an overpass last night similar to the one that collapsed in Laval. This one was on the Eastern Township's autoroute near Richelieu, southeast of Montreal. The overpass had been closed to traffic since last August.
Sky gazers will be treated to a celestial show tonight. There will be a total lunar eclipse. And as long as the weather cooperates, Montrealers shouldn't have any trouble seeing it. Stéphane Giroux joins us now from the planetarium. And Steph, what can we expect tonight?
Mitsumi is going to be the first lunar eclipse since 2004, and what makes this one different is at least this time we'll have a very good view of the eclipse, providing of course that the weather forecast, like you said, cooperates. In a nutshell, what's a lunar eclipse? Well, it's very simple. You got the Earth standing exactly in between the moon and the sun, and it creates a perfect shadow on the moon. But some of the sun rays go through the atmosphere and then will give the moon, the dark moon, a sort of reddish color, but we won't know the exact color, of course, until that eclipse is full around 10 o'clock. It's going to be a very cold night, so it's not like everyone will want to stand outside from 8:30 till 11:30 to watch it. So that's why the astronomer Marc Jobin from the planetarium has a few tips for people who will want to look at it tonight.
During the totality of the eclipse, so that's between 10 p.m. and 10:53, I believe. So during that 50-minute or so period, you'll see the moon completely immersed in the shadow of the Earth. If you want to take a peek before that and after that, maybe after that it's too late, but before that you'll see the partial phases. So you can take a peek every 15 minutes or so, you'll see the change.
Steph, is the planetarium doing anything special for this?
Absolutely. As you know, Montreal has dozens, and if not hundreds, if not thousands, of amateur astronomers, and an event like this always attracts them. So what they'll do is that they're going to keep the planetarium open tonight, so all those astronomers can gather outside around the Copernicus statue, and they'll be able to go in and warm up a bit during various stages of the eclipse.
The Copernicus statue would be the perfect place. Thank you very much, Steph.
All right, Mitsumi.
A couple of references there to the weather cooperating. Well, Lori, will you cooperate?
Well, let's say Mother Nature will cooperate. Mother Nature is going to set the stage for clear skies, a really nice show. Here's a look at what's happening right now on our latest satellite picture. We had sunshine today in Montreal, a little more cloud east of the city. Sherbrooke picked up a few flurries through the day. And yes, skies will be clear through the overnight hours. It is going to be cold, though. Temperatures will be dropping into the -20s across our viewing area. Today's daytime high, -10 with a wind chill of -18. The low was at 8 o'clock this morning. That was -13 with a wind chill of -21. The record high on this date, 10 degrees in 1994. The record low, -26.7, and that was set in 1966. We've got another cold day on the way for tomorrow, but then temperatures will begin to bounce back. We'll have the details coming up.
Thanks, Lori. Last night's game between the Montreal Canadiens and New York Rangers was one for the record books. The Habs were down 5-0. Then they won the game in what was the biggest comeback in the team's history. Danielle Hamamdjian reports.
Until last night, no Montreal Canadiens team had ever done it. Guy Carbonneau said it. There have been good teams in this club, but never in 99 years have the Habs come back from a 5-goal deficit to win a game. The morning after,
I still can't believe they came back to win that game.
phone lines are jammed.
1247 on Team 990, we're taking your phone calls.
And he tells me, he goes, Daddy, this was the best game of my life. And I go, that makes two of us.
Whether you're a fan or not, there's no denying this one's for the books.
I think anyone would be lying if they said yes, that they could come back when the team was down 5-0. But this Canadiens team this year has shown unbelievable resiliency. I think they're one of the most exciting teams in the league to watch.
The greatest comeback in the team's history.
Amazing. Probably the best game I've seen in 20 years.
Oh, I was like, as a matter of fact, that overtime was the best overtime I've ever seen.
Incredible. A miracle happened.
But this miracle has got people reminiscing about another miracle.
But perhaps that's when the miracle started to take shape.
The year was 1971, Game 2 of the Stanley Cup quarterfinals against Boston. The Bruins finished 24 points ahead of the Canadiens in the regular season standings and were leading the series 1-0.
And they were leading 5-1 late in the second period. Henri Richard scored to make it 5-2 going into the third, and that's when it fell apart for the Bruins.
The rest, as they say, is history.
Canadians go on to win the Stanley Cup after upsetting a team that was one of the all-time great teams in NHL history.
But this is 2008, and the Canadiens are in a first-place tie in the Eastern Conference.
This is a special team this year. Not getting carried away. We won't talk Stanley Cup just yet, but clearly it's a special team.
But do we dare believe?
No, they're not gonna go all the way. There's no way.
No way to tell right now, but maybe, just maybe, the ghosts of the Montreal Forum have finally made the move for good. Danielle Hamamdjian, CTV News.
Were you a believer or not last night? On Talk Back Montreal today, we want to know, did you give up on the Habs when they were down by 5 goals? Let us know by calling 514-790-1212 or by logging on to montreal.ctv.ca. We'll have the results later in this hour.
And from a history-making win to a tribute to the legends of hockey. Today, the Montreal Symphony Orchestra was rehearsing for a special concert tonight. It's a tribute to hockey heroes. The work in collaboration with the Canadiens is called Les Glorieux. The concert will feature the great players of yesterday and today, among them Henri Richard, Guy Lafleur, Yvan Cournoyer, and Régent Houle. The concert is at 8 o'clock and some tickets are still available.
Coming up, gas prices are up and economists predict they'll go even higher. Supermarkets want to stop their recycling programs. And Career Day at Willingdon Elementary.
For the first time ever at Place des Arts, Swan Lake on Ice, a breathtaking performance by world-class skaters, a show for all. At Salle Wilfrid Peltier, April 16th to 27th. Reserve your ticket now.
Halftime smoke?
No, I'm cutting back.
Cutting back?
Yeah. Gradually, with Nicorette.
Wait, what gives?
Tonight's lucky seat is row M 101.
Hey, that's my seat! That's my seat!
There are some cigarettes you can do without. Now you can cut back to quit one smoke at a time with Nicorette. No! Quit one smoke at a time with Nicorette. Help crush your craving.
Honey, look at this.
Is it for all of us?
Yeah. $1,600 US for a week. We can do that.
Oh, yeah.
The magic begins when you realize you can afford a Disney vacation. Other affordable packages all year long. Visit disneyworld.ca/affordable.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Mount Royal Cemetery. Your free copy of our no-obligation information kit is available now. 1-866-878-PLAN.
Quebec is reevaluating its waste management system.
And the big grocery chains say they want to have their say.
They are asking for the abolition of deposits on cans and plastic bottles. Christine Long joined us now. Well, Chris, why do they want this?
They say that recycling is so well entrenched in Quebec that we can just put those containers in our blue boxes. They also say it's an uneven system. Juice and water bottles don't require a deposit, but soft drinks and beer do. Of course, they say it's messy. Those big machines are messy. And most of all, they say it takes a lot of room in the store they would like to use to sell other products. You see the machines at the entrance of almost every grocery store. Now, big chains like IGA, Metro, and Loblaws want an end to the deposit refund system on cans and plastic bottles. Florent Gravel represents 9,000 retailers who think Quebecers should just put those containers into their recycling bins.
Now we try to reduce our backstore and maximize our feet square inside because a lot of companies put new products on the market, and we have to have more space for that.
Montreal's Ecological Waste Management Coalition says the deposit system just makes sense.
If we're not going to have a deposit system, and if we're not forcing the retailers to take them back, well, someone else is going to have to pay for that, and that someone else is usually the taxpayer.
In Quebec, twice as many cans get recycled because of the deposit system. And it keeps cans out of the recycling bins where the city has to deal with them. Montreal City Councillor Alan D'Souza used to sort return bottles when he was 13, working at a grocery store.
We believe in a principle of producer
pay or polluter pay. And so if you generate the waste, you should be responsible enough to make sure that you deal with the waste. We think that the deposit system works well, it works efficiently, but I think it should be expanded. It should be expanded to include the wine bottles at the Société d'Alcool de Québec.
And the unseen aspect of bottle refunds is the homeless. People like Kevin rely on bottles and cans for a little extra income.
Well, I'd probably be screwed. I wouldn't have no money. I'd be stuck at home. I wouldn't have buy food or nothing.
In the end, while the province reevaluates its waste management system, proponents say bottle and can deposits should be expanded, not abolished. Christine Long, CTV News.
In Sept-Îles, an 18-month-old boy has been hospitalized after he swallowed some illegal drugs that he found in his parents' cupboard. He is recovering. The boy consumed the hallucinogenic drug PCP. His parents were arrested and they were released under strict conditions.
A Laval man facing the death penalty in Ohio has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Michel Veillette is accused of stabbing his wife to death and setting a fire that killed his 4 children in a suburb of Cincinnati. Veillette's attorney says he's upset and misses his wife and children. Fire destroyed a popular restaurant in Thetford Mines last night. There were fears of an explosion because of a gas station right next door. La Plaza was a local landmark and had been in business for 60 years. And there was a big fire in Toronto this morning. It started just after 5 in a popular shopping district on Queen Street West. Several buildings were gutted, and there was thick gray smoke over much of the downtown area.
Gas prices fell to $1.19 a litre in Montreal today. That's down from $1.20 yesterday. But it seems the worst is yet to come. According to some economists, we could see prices as high as $1.50 a litre. David Aiken reports.
Up and away, there go pump prices again. In some Canadian cities, the price of gas spiked overnight on worries of a potential global oil shortage.
I jumped a nickel overnight, and Mr. Suzuki and people, all those kind of people want to raise it even more, so I guess we're all going to be walking and pulling rickshaws pretty soon.
I don't like it at all.
I think it's ridiculous. I don't know where they come up with these prices, but it's certainly driving the cost of owning a vehicle way up.
Higher gas prices will also affect Canada's overall economy, but in different ways. Saskatchewan, Alberta, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland are thriving. Other regions are hurting.
The obvious area to highlight is Central Canada. And this has been a real challenge because it's created huge economic disparities over the last several years.
High oil prices also push up the value of the loonie. That's great news for cross-border shoppers and anyone importing something from the U.S., but bad news, of course, for exporters. And for those exporters like forestry firms and mining companies, there's a double whammy. High gas prices will slow the U.S. economy even more, and that means reduced demand for Canadian products.
So 76% of all Canadian exports are destined for U.S. markets. So to the extent that rising energy prices are contributing to the economic slowdown in the United States, it's hurting export prospects across the country.
Gas prices should ease over the next few weeks, but there's no getting away from the long-term trend, which is up. And if there's an interruption in world oil production as the summer driving season approaches, watch out. Some economists say that if that happens, gas in Canada could touch $1.50 a litre. David Aiken, CTV News, Ottawa.
The head of the MUHC spoke to some students today visiting the Montreal Children's Hospital. It was part of Black History Month.
We allow things to divide us, which we really should allow to unite us.
Arthur Porter spoke of his life growing up in Sierra Leone. He was educated at Cambridge and Harvard. He told the children to get as much education as possible. He said, no matter who you are, be proud of your heritage.
The one thing that I was given was the ability to be truly colorblind and religious blind. And that moving out of the community, I only saw people, nice people, not so nice people, but I didn't characterize, and I never really been able to characterize people by their ethnicity, except in a positive way, that it's a feature. Just like if you spoke Chinese, that's a feature.
In addition to running the MUHC, Porter has been working on a mini-series called Black Code. It chronicles the stories of blacks here in Canada.
It's going to be clear and cold overnight. Lori joins us after the break.
And later, Barack Obama continues to build momentum as he edges closer to the Democratic presidential nomination.
More and more people are turning their retirement thinking on its head with Income Plus from Manulife Investments. As the first product of its kind in Canada, Income Plus provides a guaranteed monthly income for life.
We're okay.
All the growth potential of the market, and you'll never lose the money you invested. Take care of your retirement with Income Plus. Call your advisor or go to manulifeincomeplus.ca.
We would like to apologize to Mr. Carducci and to the Tussonis. We didn't mean to cause you any inconvenience with new Delisio Ultimate. With its fine ripened tomato sauce, our finest cheeses, meats and vegetables, and olive oil crust. We simply set out to make a pizza that rivals the best pizzerias. Delisio Ultimate. There's a new pizzeria in town.
Ain't it good? Ain't it right that you are with me here tonight? The music playing, a body swaying in time. In time. Rock me gently, rock me slowly. Baby, baby, rock me gently, rock me slowly.
Introducing the new all Jeep Liberty.
Don't you know?
Isn't it great to know that there are some people you can always count on? Your Royal LePage agent is one of them. Visit royallepage.ca to find a trusted real estate professional that'll help you sell your property or find the home of your dreams. Royal LePage, helping you is what we do.
Teresa Sokurka, previously musician from Saskatoon, wrote her first musical composition at the age of 3. Canadian Idol changed her life. Go to idol.ctv.ca to change yours.
I think your future's so bright that I gotta wear shades.
It's been awesome. Unleash your inner idol. Brought to you in part by Pantene Pro V, proud to be a sponsor of Canadian Idol.
Weather is brought to you by Buffet Maharaja, Montreal's finest Indian buffet.
Out there tonight.
That's right, and temperatures are dropping into the -20s across our viewing area. It was breezy today as well, not quite as windy as it was yesterday when Ella sent us this shot of the lakeshore in Beaconsfield. You can see the wind whipping the snow around. We've got mini snow squalls there in this picture. Nick Mateo sent us this shot of Tremblant. Beautiful blue skies. A great day today for skiing if you were dressed for it. And Diane sent us this impressive shot of the rock wall between St. Joseph's Oratory and the Rock Hill Apartments. She says she's never seen ice like this before, and it is quite impressive. Very cold temperatures today. It'll continue to be cold tomorrow. Temperatures running below normal. We should be up around -4 for this time in February. Today we hit a high of -10, wind chill of -18. Much colder back across Saskatchewan and Manitoba, where temperatures were in the -20s today, but there is some improving weather on the way for them. It was mild today in Calgary with a high of 9 degrees, and some of that that warmth will be spreading over the eastern prairies over the coming days. So tomorrow, Regina will be going up to -7, a big improvement from -20, and they'll be in the minus single digits in Winnipeg by the weekend. So here's a close-up of our area. We had some sunshine today in Montreal, a little bit of clouds still over the eastern townships with some light snow earlier today until about lunchtime, and that's when the skies started to clear out. Not a whole lot of active weather on this side of the border. South of the border, however, we've got a little clipper system bringing some snow into Washington, Philadelphia, a few flurries into New York City, and we're monitoring this developing low pressure system. Here's a look at our sky tracker. The low pressure system will track into Texas for tomorrow, and we've got a situation where we've got warm air coming up off the Gulf colliding with cold air coming down from Canada, so they'll see some freezing rain in between Texas and Indiana, some snow north of that. The low will continue to track to the northeast for Friday, so parts of New England expecting to see some significant snowfall. Toronto could also get up to 10 centimeters of snow with this system, but Montreal will be right on the northern edge, so we should escape with a few flurries at most Friday afternoon into Friday evening. So here's our systems map, and we'll see what's happening right now. There's a look at that Clipper system, which is on its way out over the Atlantic. High pressure, the weather maker, that'll dominate tonight and again tomorrow. And tomorrow, the winds are going to shift around to the southwest in the afternoon, and that'll begin to bring the temperatures up, usher in a milder air mass Thursday into Friday. So tonight, we're calling for mainly clear skies, a light westerly wind, a low of -20 here in Montreal, which is about 7 degrees below average, and it'll feel even colder when you factor in the light westerly winds. Tomorrow morning, sunny skies, westerly winds at 20 kilometers an hour to start, and then the winds will begin to turn around, come from the southwest by the afternoon. We're calling for a high of -8, but wind chills still in the minus teens. Lows tonight dropping into the -20s, -26 tonight in the Laurentians, highs tomorrow between -8 and -12. Here's a look at the long-range picture for Montreal. So another sunny, cold day coming up for tomorrow. Temperatures will begin to rebound on Friday. We'll see increasing clouds, slight chance of flurries Friday afternoon and Friday evening. At this point, looks like a pretty nice weekend. A sun-cloud mix Saturday and Sunday, highs of -1 and -2 with some light snow developing on Monday. Right now, we're at -11, the wind chill -19.
Thank you, Lori. And Deborah Arbeck joins us now with a look at CTV News at 11:30. Deborah?
Brian, cold, yes, but it is supposed to be a clear night for the lunar eclipse. We'll be live from the planetarium tonight. Also, CKUT Radio is once again holding its homeless marathon downtown, trying to draw attention to the plight of the homeless. So we'll have more on that. And there are 6 games in the NHL tonight. That will be on Sports Night. Brian and Mitz, back to you.
Thanks, Deborah. And coming up, a perfect landing at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
Atlantis is back home after the astronauts added a lab to the International Space Station.
Hi, this is Randy Tiemann. If you weren't a believer last night, you have to be a believer today. The Canadians are serious contenders. All the details coming up on CTV Sports.
We never give up. We never give up. Never. I was sure they were going to win because they're the best. They're the best team of Montreal.
They're good. My little boys say that, hey, that's my friends.
No, I think a true fan sticks with the team.
No, it's a good team this year. Yeah, well, maybe we'll have a parade, no?
Are you prepared? In a major emergency like a flood or blackout, you need to be ready to take care of yourself and your loved ones for at least 72 hours, while emergency workers help those in urgent need. Start today. Prepare your emergency kit. Visit getprepared.ca or call 1-800-O-CANADA to find out where to get a kit or how to put one together. Because we all have a role to play in preparing for emergencies. A message from the Government of Canada.
Oh, yeah. Is that a trumpet?
Cliff Chatterton knows the importance of computers for child amputees.
I went to university for 4 years. You gotta learn how to type.
Through Jumpstart, champs with multiple amputations receive computers and devices designed for them. Workshops offer the training they need for future independence.
We realized in the war amps that the computer is the great equalizer.
See? Yeah, we got it. You got it.
New Royale bathroom tissue is softer and thicker than before.
Each richly embossed sheet has a difference you can see and feel. Compare new, softer, and thicker Royale bathroom tissue to your current brand. Feeling is believing. Royale.
Across the country, Canadians are finding reasons to run to Rona for the Renovate and Save event. From February 20th to March 11th, start any renovation project and you can choose to pay in 1 year or in 18 equal installments with no fee and no interest. The Renovate and Save event. It's how to renovate now and pay later. Rona, the Canadian how-to people.
Closed captioning on CTV is brought to you by Mikasa Sushi Bar, the simplicity of Zen with the culinary excellence of Japan in a New York-style sushi bar and grill.
You're watching CTV News with Mitsumi Takahashi and Brian Britt.
In the race for the White House, people in 2 more states have voted.
John McCain and Barack Obama have opened up even wider leads now.
TJ Winnick has the latest.
By winning Wisconsin and Hawaii Tuesday, Barack Obama's hot streak, now at 10 straight wins, remains intact. Still, the Democratic frontrunner continued to hammer away at Hillary Clinton while campaigning today in Dallas.
It's a choice between going into the general election with Republicans and independents already united against us, or running with a campaign that has already united Americans.
It will now be at least a month between victories for Clinton, who, according to her own husband, will have to do well on March 4th to overcome Obama's momentum.
If she wins in Texas and Ohio, I think she'll be the nominee. If you don't deliver for her, I don't think she can be. It's all on you.
This morning in New York City, the former First Lady continued to paint herself as the candidate of substance.
It's time that we moved from good words to good works, from sound bites to sound solutions.
After winning the Republican primaries in Wisconsin and Washington state, John McCain is looking more and more like the GOP nominee. Today, he lashed out at Obama for going back on what McCain said was a pledge they both made in 2007 to accept public financing if they ran in the 2008 general election.
That's not transparency, nor is it keeping one's word to the American people to take public financing. I'll keep my word.
And today, Barack Obama scored another big victory. The Teamsters Union, which represents 1.25 million transportation workers, announced it would endorse the Illinois senator for the Democratic nomination. TJ Winnick, ABC News, Washington.
A powerful earthquake rocked Indonesia today. At least 3 people were killed and more than 24 others were seriously hurt. The quake had a preliminary magnitude of 7.6. Tsunami warnings were issued and were later canceled.
The space shuttle Atlantis is back. Atlantis glided in for a perfect landing in Florida. It touched down just after 9 this morning at Cape Canaveral. During the 2-week mission, the crew added a European lab to the International Space Station. NASA wanted Atlantis back as soon as possible to clear the way for the Navy to shoot down a wayward U.S. spy satellite. A missile was supposed to be launched from a ship in the North Pacific, but the launch has been delayed because of bad weather. And a meteor streaked through the sky over the Pacific Northwest early yesterday morning. People from Kamloops to Idaho say they saw bright lights and heard sonic booms. The meteorite landed 300 kilometers south of Seattle. There was no damage reported.
A Louisiana police force is under investigation. A woman was seriously beaten at a police station in Shreveport. At one point, an officer turns off a surveillance camera. When the recording resumes, the woman's face is battered and she's lying in a pool of blood. The officer was fired 3 weeks ago. He says the woman fell.
And Randy, how about them Habs?
You know, it was kind of funny because I was in my car and it was 5-2 and I went into the arena for my son's hockey game and I came out and all of a sudden it's 5-4 and I said, what the heck's going on? We will have the story of the comeback last night and a whole lot more when we come back.
Now at Chrysler Canada, we're equipping our vehicles with a special new feature. Introducing new Canadian pricing. Get into a 2008 Chrysler, Jeep, or Dodge with newly adjusted pricing that helps you take advantage of the strong Canadian dollar. Plus, along with new Canadian pricing, we also pay the freight up to $13.50 for a total allowance of over $9,000. Our vehicles have always offered a lot to be proud of. Now with new Canadian pricing, there's even more. See your Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge retailer today.
On this field, there are no refs, just timekeepers. Introducing new Campbell's Chunky Barbecue Flavored Soups. Hearty soups to feed an NFL-size hunger. Campbell's Chunky, official soup sponsor of the NFL.
I stapled it.
Microwavable chunky soup bowls from Campbell's. Good to go.
Is your hair losing the war against breakage? Try new Garnier Fructis Strengthen Repair with nourishing fruit micro oils. It goes deeper to repair and revitalize hair. It's proven. It helps reverse the signs of damage in just 1 week. Hair is 7 times stronger, and stronger hair defends against damage better. New Garnier Fructis Strengthen Repair. No one makes your hair stronger. Garnier, take care.
There were many people who left it when the Rangers had a 5-0 lead. So if you are one of those people, Randy's here to fill you in on what happened.
Crazy people. Stay to the end. You know, you really missed it last night. You missed something, really something. Not only the greatest comeback in team history, but a game that had absolutely everything. When Chris Drury scored at the 5:03 mark of the second period, the Rangers had a 5-0 lead. But before the second was over, the Habs chipped away at the 8:28 mark. Michael Ryder with his first of the game, his 10th of the year. And 3.5 minutes later, it was Ryder with his second, his 11th of the year, and all of a sudden it was 5-2 after 2, and they just kept coming. In the third, Kovalev with his 28th at the 6:43 mark, and it was a 5-3 hockey game. Then before you could say too many men on the ice, it was 5-4. 9 seconds later, Mark Streit with his 10th, and with 4 minutes and 22 seconds to play, it was Kovalev then on the power play, his second of the game, 29th of the year, and this game was headed to overtime. It went to a shootout, and after a couple of misses, Saku Koivu gave the Habs the lead. All Cristobal Alouette had to do was stop Jágr, and the comeback was complete. How sweet it is. As expected today, everyone from Rigaud to the Gaspé were talking about the greatest comeback in regular season history. Even at the rink this morning, the guys were like kids in a candy store when asked about it. Brian Wild with the story.
Koivu qui est arrêté par Rosival. La rondelle revient à André Kosticinovi!
The morning after the greatest comeback any one of these Habs can ever remember, and no one had gotten much sleep.
When I got into bed, I mean, I was still wired and still just thinking about all the plays and all the things that had happened last night. You know, I was trying to close my eyes and I couldn't fall asleep.
Yeah, I think I was up till like 4 in the morning. I couldn't sleep at all last night. Just so wired, you know. Just the, you know, that kind of emotional victory like that. It was just, I keep saying it over and over again. It was just so much fun to be a part of.
Maxime Lapierre said he didn't even get any sleep at all, not a wink. He was replaying amazing moments over and over. Most players thought it was the physical play that paved the way for the goals to come.
I think Commissaric's action at the end of the second period, that we were able to kill the penalty, and then obviously the goal that we got in the first 5-6 minutes in the third, that was that got us back in the game there a bit.
I think maybe last year we would have packed it in, and this year, you know, we've been like this since the start of the year. That's the reason why we haven't had a long period where we lost games. I think there's a lot of character in this team.
The fans were also a catalyst for the comeback. Thomas Plekanec can't ever remember a time he got a standing ovation for winning a face-off.
It was unbelievable. It was best feeling ever so far. I think in my career for a regular season win like that, it was just unbelievable.
You get chills down your spine when how loud the place was and how into it, the guys on the bench were and the fans were. It was pretty special.
Cristobal Huet earned the start against Pittsburgh tomorrow. Bob Gainey says he's shopping for a high-impact player at the trading deadline. And Guy Carbonneau says he believes the team can contend for the Cup. All in all, not a bad time to be a Habs fan. Brian Wild, CTV Sports.
Good stuff, Brian. Jacques Villeneuve was back in town today. He's looking for a sponsor so he can continue his NASCAR career. And he's hooked up with his old buddy, Barry Green. Villeneuve was with Green when they won the Kart Series Championship and the Indianapolis 500. He said he was happily retired after selling his interest in the company back in 2002. He said that he got excited after watching Villeneuve race, and he knew that he was serious about NASCAR racing. They've said the Bill Davis team is still their main target, but that the door is always wide open.
Ultimately, they were happy to have me in the car, but at the same time, it's a business for everyone, and they can't keep just spending from their pockets. So it makes sense. I'm just very grateful that I was allowed to race in Daytona without a sponsorship in place, because that was a great experience, something that will be very useful for the future.
You've heard the numbers. You've heard the big budgets of $25 to $30 million per car. It can range from $15 million to $25 million. You think NASCAR is big, but wait until you get on the inside. I mean, it is one big freight train moving down the railroad line. And yes, there are teams like ours looking for sponsorship, but there's some very impressive sponsors involved in that series, and the fans just love it.
Quite a day for the Montreal Alouettes. They signed free agent linebacker Reggie Hunt and kick return specialist Tony Tompkins. He was with the Eskimos when they beat the Owls in the 2005 Grey Cup. The club also released veteran linebacker and team captain Tim Strickland and announced that veteran defensive tackle Steve Charbonneau was calling it quits after 11 years.
I wish I had the health to play last year as well, to finish up my career in Montreal wearing the uniform instead of spending the last year at home being sick. But at least I feel like they've welcomed me here back, and you know what, I feel in Edmonton they say always, once an Eskimo, always an Eskimo. That's the way I feel being an Alouettes today. So, but got to move on, and you got to know when to call it quit. But I guess the biggest disappointment is not to have won a Grey Cup or played last year as well.
And yes, I believe. I believe.
Don't we all? Randy, thank you.
We believe.
We'll be right back.
Hey. I'll drive? Nah, we'll switch when we need gas.
The surprisingly fuel-efficient Dodge Caliber.
To help maintain a good cardiovascular health, choose AG's omega-3 enteric formula with no aftertaste. Life's precious. Live it well.
Jump for joy! Because at Villeneuve Sleep Galleries, it's the annual manufacturer-authorized mattress mega sales event. This Sumex mattress is only $399. This Villeneuve collection mattress is $499. This Simmons, $649. And this Serta, $699. Pay in 50 interest-free payments and take advantage of our 90-day trial period. We even pick up your old mattress and delivery is free. At the Villeneuve Sleep Galleries, we take care of you.
Efficiency, speed, flexibility at Del Mar is very important.
We are very proactive when it comes to customer service. Our intention is to get to the customer with answers before they come to us with questions.
We have the ability through electronics to reroute our cargo in a moment's notice.
We do whatever is required to make sure the client gets the goods.
Being able to provide our customers with data is as important as being able to move their cargo.
Del Mar, customs brokerage and international freight forwarding, a world of service.
Max. Style and design straight from Europe. Chic, relaxed, and timelessly elegant. Max.
Skies across southern Quebec. We're expecting to see more sunshine in the forecast for tomorrow. Once again, temperatures running below normal. And we're keeping an eye on this storm system here, which will be tracking across the United States, and then it'll sort of make a left-hand turn and move up toward the northeastern U.S. It's expected to bring some pretty significant snowfall to parts of New England. We'll be sitting right on the northern edge of this system. So right now it looks like only a few flurries for Montreal. Here's a look at the long-range picture here in the city after clear skies tonight and a low of -20. We're expecting sunshine tomorrow with a high of -8. Temperatures will begin to moderate. The winds will begin to shift around to the southwest. For Friday, not as cold, a high of -3, but we'll see increasing cloud with that system from the U.S. and possibly a few flurries Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Right now, looks like a super weekend here in Montreal. Sun cloud mix for both Saturday and Sunday. Daytime highs up around -1, which is a few degrees above normal. And for Monday, we'll see increasing cloud, slight chance of snow, and a high of -2. Cold right now, -11, the wind chill -19.
The fight against climate change is taking a new turn in British Columbia. BC is bringing in the first full-fledged carbon tax on the continent. Starting July 1st, people will pay an additional 2.4 cents a litre for gasoline. The price will keep going up by more than a penny a year for the next 5 years. The province will cushion the blow by lowering the income taxes and offering breaks for people who buy energy-saving appliances.
German television is about to get a lot more morbid. A new channel will be hitting the airwaves within the next few months, devoted exclusively to old age, death, and dying. The station will run obituaries and programs about funerals and cemeteries. It will also run informative features for the elderly, such as how to install stair lifts and other useful gadgets.
It was a comeback of historic proportions. The Canadians were down 5-0, ended up beating the Rangers 6-5. Were you a believer? On Talkback Montreal today, 54% of people who responded said yes, they gave up. 46% said no, they did not. And our thanks to everyone who took the time to vote in today's poll.
Tonight's lineup is brought to you in part by Centaur Theatre Company's provocative new play, Relative Good by David Gow. For details, centaurtheatre.com.
Tonight, a sudden jolt for drivers.
That's crazy.
What's behind the steep jump in gas prices? And our fears of $1.50 a litre looking more likely. Watch at CTV National News tonight at 11.
At Infinity, the art of hospitality
is anticipating what people want. Introducing the all-new Infiniti EX, designed to elevate luxury in ways you could never imagine. Ordinary is getting inside a car. Extraordinary is never wanting to leave it. The all-new Infiniti EX, the personal luxury crossover.
Hey, there's another 2 girls at that place. What do they got that we don't?
I've never seen this much HD before.
You think it's the furniture?
Wow, that loaded fast.
You think it's the furniture?
Don't worry, we'll call you back. I promise. Ladies?
Alan? Alan! Oh my God!
I'm sorry. That's all they had.
Not having a choice when you rent or buy a movie can be disturbing.
Luckily, your Super Club Videotron always rents a huge variety of new releases at 2 for $8.99 or 3 for $11.99. Choose from We Own the Night, American Gangster, Rendition, and lots more. Super Club Videotron. Tons of copies.
The only thing standing between you and your new LG French door refrigerator is your old refrigerator. Auto-closing doors, the tallest water dispenser available, and so much more. A refrigerator worth dreaming about. LG. Life's good.
For a virtual host demonstration, visit the LG Kitchen at lg.ca.
And now the story so far. 16 people were arrested and another is still at large after police raids across Quebec this morning. Those arrested are accused of hacking into computers around the world, infecting programs, stealing personal information, and causing millions in damages.
2 Canadian aid workers have been accused of committing sex crimes against children at a Haitian orphanage. 64-year-old Armand Huard and 59-year-old Denis Rochefort were arrested in Quebec City today.
There was a protest today against the Castonguay report on health care financing. Several hundred people took part. They say the report promotes two-tier medicine and caters to the rich.
So what is it like to be a television reporter?
Well, that was the question of the day at Willington Elementary and NDG yesterday. Caroline Van Vlardigan spoke to some of the students about her job. It was all part of a series of informal career day events at the school. Caroline asked them what they would cover if they were reporters.
Well, it would definitely be about people being unjust to animals and abandoning animals.
I would like to cover the environment because I think it's a big issue, and if lots of people watch it on TV, I think we could make it a little better.
I kind of like video games, video game designing. That's probably something I would cover. Some story about Nintendo or something.
All very, very good suggestions. We got to get on to that. The Career Day series continues at Willington throughout the spring.
And a nice night for a lunar eclipse.
That's right. The eclipse will begin at 8:43, the full eclipse at 10 p.m. And we're expecting to see clear skies across southern Quebec. Here's a look at our satellite picture. High pressure dominating, more sunshine on the way for tomorrow. Still cold though. Temperatures will be running below normal. Our daytime high -8. Winds will be shifting to the southwest. So temperatures should begin to bounce back for Friday. We'll see increasing cloud, a few scattered flurries possible Friday afternoon and Friday evening. We've got a system sliding by just south of us.
Thank you, Laurie.
I want to cover spring training camp in Florida, and I want to cover right now. I want to leave right now. 6 games in the NHL. Dave just said in my ear, the Expos are gone. They'll never be gone. 6 games in the NHL tonight. We'll have it all on Sports Night.
That's it for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a good evening, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 6.
Good night.
Bye
Good
for
night.
now.
Canadians care about the environment.